This video is going to go over comma integration. It's the first type of quote integration that we will be talking about. Over the course of the next few weeks, we are going to be talking about 3 different types of quote integration. As you watch through this video, please make sure that you are taking notes because you will be expected to integrate your quotes from now on. So you are going to need to know how to do that. So the first thing we need to look at is what do we actually mean by quote integration. So whenever you're using an outside source to support your claims, you're going to have to end up using quotes or facts from other people. So when you do that, there are some right ways to do it and there are some wrong ways to do it. An integrated quote is one that doesn't stand alone. It is part of the surrounding text and it's blended together in your writing. So, for example, we have, although writing can be easy, it might hurt too. There's nothing to writing. All you do is sit down at the typewriter and bleed. So this example is not integrated. If we look at it, we can see that we have a sentence here, and then we have our quote here, and they're not connected at all. They're not blended. They are 2 very separate sentences. So this one is not integrated. The quote stands alone as its own sentence, which is not what we want to do. Our next example is author Ernest Hemingway contended ironically, there's nothing to writing. All you do is sit down at the typewriter and bleed. This one is integrated because we have a comma here that connects this part of the sentence with this part of the sentence, and together they work together to show the piece of evidence. So this one is integrated. The quote is blended, it's part of your sentence. So there are some rules to doing this so that we can do it the right way. So the first type that we are going to look at is comma integration. So this is probably where you want to start taking notes if you haven't been already. So we introduce the quote with the source of the quote and a signal verb. The quote has to be a complete sentence. So hit pause, write all that down. An example of this is right here. Hemingway once wrote. So Hemingway is our source, wrote is our signal verb, and then we have our complete sentence here that is the quote. Write hard and clear about what hurts. Another example is here. So this is our source, Elena Samuels. In an article for The Atlantic, reports is our signal verb, and then we have our quote, which is a full sentence. The wealthy are less benevolent when they know just how poor their neighbors are. So here we have a bunch of signal verbs. These are not the only signal verbs that you could use, but these are some that will probably work with pretty much whatever quote you have chosen. So it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to write down these signal verbs so that you have a list of them. There are a couple more rules for comma integration. So after the signal verb, you have to use a comma. It's comma integration. You need a comma. So for example, literary critic Walter suggests, comma, the doctor in the end is dethroned and reborn as Nick's father. So make sure that you have a comma in between these. It's kind of like when you did your narrative and you would have your speaker tag, you needed a comma with it. Another example, President Obama explained. Explained is our signal verb. Then we have our comma. A growing middle class was the engine of our prosperity. Our second rule is that you have to make the first letter of the quote a capital letter, even if it's lowercase in the text. So, for example, Carabelle suggests, comma, capital W, what we are left with today is increased inequality in wages and opportunity. Sometimes when you pull a quote out of the middle of a sentence, it doesn't have a capital letter. In these cases, you want to change the capital. You need to change the first letter of the quote to a capital, and then you need to use brackets to indicate that you changed anything. So anytime you change something within a quote, use brackets to show that you changed something. So for example, if from our text I took the line, I was going to use the line, above all, The past years have eroded the 20th century dream of hard work and translating into a better life. But I don't want to take that whole thing. I want to start right here. I don't want above all. So I could say Carabelle exclaims, comma, the past years have eroded. You'll notice that in the original, the is not capitalized, but I'm capitalizing it here, so I need to put brackets around it to show that I have changed the original a little bit. And that's it. That's all there is to comma integration. Over the next week or two, we are going to be practicing comma integration in everything that you are writing. So please make sure that you have these notes so that when we practice, you know what you're doing. You are going to be expected to always integrate quotes from now on. So please make sure that you have this and that you're trying so that you can get this done and figure it out correctly. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, have a great day.